Hello, everyone. Welcome back to our daily motivation session. My name is John.
And my name is Anne.
Thank you so much for being here with us today. We know your time is very valuable, and we are so happy you chose to spend it here, learning and growing with us. Before we start, I have a quick question for you. Do you often feel afraid of failure? Tell me in the comments. I really want to know.
Please pause the audio right now. Go ahead and write your comment below. Then press play when you are ready to continue.
All right, let's get into it. Today, we are doing a deep dive into some truly powerful source material. We are looking at a very famous, very inspiring motivational speech by Steve Harvey.
Yes, we are. And the main message of this speech is about ignoring all the loud noise in the world. It is about learning how to truly value yourself. Our goal for today's deep dive is simple, but it is very important.
Right. We want to break down these big lessons step by step for you.
Exactly. We want to take these big concepts and figure out how you can actually apply them to your daily life. Not tomorrow, but starting today. We are going to talk about how you work, how you find your special gift, how to protect your time, and how to look at failure in a completely new way.
I really love the focus of this material. The speech starts right away with a very hard truth. It says, everyone wants the prize, but nobody wants to pay the price.
That is such a strong way to start.
It really is. It points out that so many of us have a $1 million dream, but a minimum wage work ethic. And I think we all know what that feels like. We all want the beautiful view from the top of the mountain. We want the success, the peace, the good life.
But when it is time to actually do the hard, tiring walk up the mountain, we complain.
Yeah, we complain a lot. We want the final result, but we do not want the long process.
That is exactly it. We love the idea of success, but the reality of success is usually just hard, boring work. And this connects directly to a very common trap that the speech talks about. It is the idea that the grass is always greener on the other side.
Yes, the greener grass.
Right. People spend so much time looking over the fence at their neighbor's yard. They are trying to see if their neighbor has a better life or a bigger house or a happier family. But here is the big problem. When you spend all your energy looking at someone else's yard, you are completely ignoring your own.
You stop watering your own grass.
Yes. You are sitting on a gold mine. And that gold mine is your own potential. But you simply cannot see it because you are staring at someone else's property.
I feel like this problem is 100 times worse today, mostly because of social media. When you open an app on your phone, you're immediately looking at everyone else's grass.
Oh, definitely.
But social media is not real life. It is just a highlight reel. People only post their very best moments. They post the beautiful vacations, the perfect meals, and the big happy smiles.
Right. They only post the green grass. They never post the dead brown patches. They never post the dirty dishes in the kitchen sink or the dog mess in the backyard.
So true.
The danger here is that you end up comparing your real life with all its messy, difficult, behind-the-scenes problems to a perfect movie that someone else created online. And that comparison will steal your happiness every single time. It just leaves you feeling completely empty.
Let us picture someone going through this. Let us imagine a guy named David.
Okay, let's talk about David.
David has a normal life. He has a normal house and a normal garden. But every morning, David drinks his coffee, looks out his window, and stares at his neighbor's garden. His neighbor's garden is totally perfect. The flowers are beautiful. The grass is thick and green.
And David probably feels bad about his own yard.
Exactly.
Yeah.
David looks at his own garden, which has some brown spots and a few weeds, and he feels miserable. He thinks, wow, my neighbor's just so lucky. Why does his life look so perfect while my life is such a big struggle?
David is completely missing the real story. He thinks his neighbor just has good luck. What David does not see is that his neighbor's alarm clock goes off at 5 o'clock every single morning.
While David is still sleeping.
Yes. David does not see his neighbor outside in the dark, watering the plants before the sun even comes up. He does not see his neighbor on his hands and knees in the dirt, pulling out weeds when nobody else is watching. David just sees the prize. He does not see the price.
That is a great point. I think we all do what David does sometimes. We look at successful people and say, oh, they just got lucky.
Yeah.
But the source material makes a really strong argument against that. It says luck is actually just consistent maintenance.
Consistent maintenance. I love that phrase.
P2, it is just showing up and doing the small, boring work every single day.
It really is. You have to fall in love with the process of watering your own life. And let us be honest here, watering your lawn is not always exciting. Sometimes it feels like watching paint dry.
Very boring.
Very boring.
Yeah.
But you cannot just water your grass once on a Monday and expect to have a beautiful jungle on Tuesday.
Yeah.
You have to show up every single day with your watering can. The goal is to make your own grass so green, so healthy, and so beautiful that you do not even have the time or the interest to look at the grass next door.
But that brings up a really important question for our listener. If we need to focus on our own grass and work hard, what exactly should we be working on? How do we know we are watering the right things?
That is a big question, isn't it?
Because you can work really hard at the wrong job and still feel totally miserable. The speech talks about the difference between a skill and a gift. This caught my attention. I always thought skills and gifts were the exact same thing.
A lot of people mix them up. But understanding the difference is actually the secret to finding your true purpose in life. Let's break it down. A skill is something you learn how to do. You go to a classroom, you read a book, or you practice a specific technique.
Like learning how to write computer code.
Right. Learning to write code is a skill. Learning how to fix a car engine is a skill. Anyone can learn a skill if they spend enough hours studying it. But a gift is completely different. Your gift is built into your DNA. The speech suggests it was placed inside you before you were even born. You do not learn your gift. You discover it.
Okay, but how do you actually discover it? It's not like we were born with a paper manual that says, here is your special gift. It can feel really confusing to try and find it.
The material gives us a very practical clue for this. It says your gift is the thing you do the absolute best, with the least amount of effort. It is the thing that feels completely natural to you.
So it shouldn't feel incredibly hard.
Exactly. Think about what you do that makes other people smile. Or the thing you do where people look at you and ask, wow, how did you do that so fast? That feeling of ease is your biggest clue. It is like a trail of breadcrumbs leading you directly toward your true purpose.
I hear that, and it sounds beautiful. But let us be realistic for a second. Most people listening right now have bills to pay. They have to pay rent. They have to buy groceries for their families. Can you really just follow this easy gift and expect to survive in the real world? There is a big difference between a hobby you are good at and a job that pays the bills.
That is a very fair concern, and the speech addresses this directly. Yes, a job pays your bills. You need a job to survive in the world. But operating in your gift is what builds true wealth. And I mean both financial wealth and emotional wealth.
How does it do that?
When you use your gift, it feels like the universe is actually helping you. Doors that were locked tight suddenly open up for you. The right people show up at the exact right time. It feels like you are swimming downstream. The water is pushing you forward gently instead of you fighting and splashing against a heavy current.
Let's use an example to make this clearer for the listener. Let's think about a woman named Sarah.
Perfect.
Sarah is an incredibly hard worker. At her company, she is trying to do 12 different things. She is doing the accounting, she's trying to run marketing campaigns, she's organizing all the office files, and she is managing customer complaints. She is average at all these things. She isn't terrible, but she isn't great either, and she is completely exhausted. She is running 100 miles an hour, but she is running in circles.
Right. And she is exhausted because she is relying on skills that do not come naturally to her. She learned them, but they drain her energy. But let us say Sarah has a true gift. Let us say her gift is connecting with people.
Just talking to them and understanding them.
Exactly. She just knows how to make people feel heard, understood, and calm. It takes zero effort for her. She just does it naturally when she talks to anyone. The speech argues that if Sarah stopped trying to be average at 12 different technical skills and focused all her daily energy on her one true gift, connecting with people, she would become phenomenal.
She can become the best client manager in the world. Or she could build a business based entirely on human connection.
Yes. She needs to sharpen that one natural gift until it shines so brightly that nobody can ignore it. And there is another point here that I think is very beautiful. The material emphasizes that your gift isn't just for you. It is not just a party trick to show off.
What is it for then?
You were given the specific ability so you could solve a problem for someone else. When you focus on serving other people with your gift, the success naturally follows. You do not have to chase the money, you just chase the service.
That shifts the whole perspective. You don't chase the money, you chase the service. The greatest tragedy is having this incredible gift, but keeping it wrapped up in a box your whole life. You have to open the box and share it.
Absolutely. But But of course, opening that box, practicing your gift, and focusing on your own grass takes a massive amount of time. And that brings us to the next major theme of the speech. It is about time. Specifically, putting a tax on your time and learning how to truly value yourself.
Time is such a difficult concept for people. We treat it so casually, we just give it away. But the speech frames time as the most expensive currency in the world. It is more valuable than gold or cash.
Much more valuable.
If I lose my money in a bad business deal, I can work hard and eventually make that money back. If I lose my house, I can eventually buy another house. But if I lose 1 hour of my life, that hour is gone forever. No amount of money can buy yesterday back.
And because time is so valuable, you have an absolute duty to protect it. The speech uses a really powerful analogy here. It shows how crazy our behavior is when it comes to time.
Let's hear it.
Imagine your house. Would you leave the front door of your house wide open, walk away, and let strangers come inside? Would you let them take your sofa, your television, and your clothes?
Of course not. People would call you crazy.
Exactly. You lock your front door to protect your physical things.
But we do not do that with our schedules. We leave our daily schedules completely wide open.
Yeah.
We let anyone walk into our day and steal our hours, our minutes, and our energy.
And the crazy part is, instead of calling this foolish, we usually call it being nice. We think we're just being good, helpful people by giving our time to everyone who asks for it.
That is the trap. We let people steal our most valuable thing because we are afraid of saying a simple 2-letter word, no.
People feel so guilty saying no, but the material gives us a rule we all need to remember. No is a complete sentence.
Just the word no.
Just the word no. You do not need to add a long explanation. You do not need to invent a complicated excuse about why you cannot attend a party or why you cannot help someone with a project that drains your energy.
I struggle with this one personally. It feels rude to just say no without explaining why. How do we actually do this without feeling like a bad friend or a bad coworker?
It is about changing your perspective on what you are protecting. If an activity does not align with your true purpose, or if a person constantly brings drama and stress into your life, saying no is not rude, it is self-preservation. You are putting a tax on your time.
A tax on your time, I like that.
When you start valuing your time highly, you will notice something interesting happens. The people who just wanted to use you for free, the ones who drain your energy, they will disappear. They cannot afford the high price of your time anymore.
And the good people.
The people who truly respect you, they will completely understand your boundaries. They will respect your no.
Valuing your time really just means valuing yourself. And there's another great metaphor in the speech about this. It tells the listener to stop acting like a discount item on a clearance rack.
A clearance rack.
Yeah, clearance rack is where a store throws all the cheap, damaged clothes that nobody wants to buy at full price. The message here is very clear. You are not a discount item. You are a premium, full-price item.
Think about a high-end luxury store. If you walk into one of those expensive stores in the city, pick up a beautiful bag and tell the manager, I only have $10 in my pocket. What will they do?
They will not apologize to you.
No, they will not. They will not lower the price of the bag to match your $10. They will simply and politely ask you to leave and go find a cheaper store. They know the true value of what they have.
We really need to adopt that exact same attitude with our own lives and our own energy. So often we lower our value just to fit into places where we do not belong anymore.
We shrink ourselves.
We shrink our personalities so we do not make other people uncomfortable. We stay in bad relationships or accept terrible jobs because we somehow convince ourselves that we do not deserve anything better.
You teach the world how to treat you by showing the world how you treat yourself. If you constantly put yourself on the clearance rack, people will treat you like a cheap item. You have to demand what you are worth.
And yes, if you do this, some people will walk away because they cannot handle your new standard. Let them go. They're just clearing out empty space in your life so that better people, better opportunities, and better energy can enter.
I love that idea of letting things go to create empty space. It is so necessary. But letting go of the past is incredibly hard for most people. People hold on to things for years.
Which brings us to the next big concept in the speech, the rearview mirror and the racehorse blinders.
Imagine you are driving your car down a very fast highway. If you spend your whole trip staring into that tiny mirror above your dashboard, looking at what is behind you, what is going to happen, you are going to crash. It is physically impossible to drive a car forward safely if your eyes are fixed on the road behind you. The speech applies this directly to our minds. It says that the past is a place of reference, not a place of residence.
Let us break those two words down, because the difference is everything. A place of reference is somewhere you visit for information, like looking up a quick fact in a book.
Right. And a place of residence is where you live. It is where you sleep, where you spend all your time.
You can look back at your past to learn a lesson. You can look back to see where you made a mistake so you do not do it again. But you cannot build your house in the past.
We all have a history. We all have failures and moments we feel deeply ashamed of. But the message here is that you are not your mistakes. You are the wisdom you gain from those mistakes.
A huge part of leaving that past behind involves forgiveness.
Hmm.
And I want to be honest with you, our listener. It is easy to sit here on a deep dive and say, just forgive people. But when someone really hurts you, holding on to that anger feels natural. It feels like justice.
But the speech warns against this. It says holding a grudge is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die.
That is a powerful image. It shows who is really getting hurt. The person who wronged you is probably outliving their life, completely unaware of your anger. Meanwhile, the poison of that anger is making you bitter, heavy, and sick.
Forgiveness is not about letting the other person off the hook. It is not about saying what they did was okay. Forgiveness is purely a selfish act for your own health. You have to drop those heavy bags of anger.
Because if your hands are full of old, toxic anger, how can you possibly catch the new blessings that are falling into your life today? You need your hands empty and ready.
Exactly. So we drop the bags, we stop looking in the rearview mirror. Now we are looking out the big windshield in front of us. To stay focused on that road ahead, the speech suggests we need to be like a racehorse.
A racehorse. If you have ever seen a professional horse race, you will notice the horses wear these leather cups over the sides of their eyes. Those are called blinders.
Why do trainers put blinders on a massive, powerful animal? Because a racehorse is naturally a prey animal. By nature, it wants to look around for danger. If it sees another horse rushing up on its left or right side, the horse might panic.
It might lose its rhythm, change its stride, or slow down completely. The blinders eliminate all that side vision. The horse can only see one thing, the track directly in front of it and the finish line.
Humans are not much different. We are so easily distracted by what everyone else is doing. We desperately need mental blinders today. The world is a distraction machine.
Your phone buzzes with news, your friends are gossiping, there are new trends you feel you have to follow, and there's endless entertainment.
If you stop your forward sprint every single time something flashes on the side of the road, you will never, ever reach your own finish line.
You have to develop tunnel vision. You must run your own race. It does not matter what the person in the lane next to you is doing. It does not matter if they seem to be running faster than you, or if they have better running shoes, or if the crowd is cheering louder for them.
You are not racing them. You are only racing against your own potential. When you put those mental blinders on, you save so much energy. You stop turning your head to the left and right. Let the world make its loud noise. You stay quiet, steady, and focus strictly on your own path.
But wait, let's look at the other side for a second. What happens when you are looking straight ahead, running your own race, and you suddenly trip and fall flat on your face? Because it will happen. We will fail.
Yes, failure is guaranteed.
And that is a huge fear for so many people. It stops them from even starting the race. How does the speech suggest we handle the reality of failure?
The material insists that we have to completely change our definition of what failure actually is. Most people view failure as a tombstone. They see it as the heavy rock at the end of the road that says, "Here lies your dream. It is over."
But failure isn't a tombstone at all.
No, it is a stepping stone. It is a solid rock you stand on to get higher, to see further, and to eventually cross the river.
Let's bring a character in to illustrate this for you. Let's talk about a guy named Mike.
Okay, Mike.
Mike has a big dream of starting his own small business. He saves his money, he puts his blinders on, and he works really hard. But despite all his effort, the market changes. He makes a bad decision, and the business fails completely. Mike loses his money, and he feels very embarrassed.
At this moment, Mike is sitting on the floor. He has two choices. His first choice is to stay on the ground and throw a pity party. He can complain about how unfair life is, blame the economy, and tell himself he was never smart enough anyway.
But pity parties do not achieve anything.
Never. The second choice Mike has is to take a deep breath, dust the dirt off his clothes, make sure nothing is broken, and stand back up.
In a successful life, Mike stands back up. Why? Because Mike realizes that failure is not this terrible monster that is trying to destroy him. Failure is actually a mentor. It is the most honest teacher you will ever have in your life.
Mike's failure taught him exactly what does not work. And by learning what does not work, Mike is now much closer to figuring out what will work next time.
That is the secret of highly successful people. The only way you permanently lose the game is if you choose to stay on the floor. If you keep standing back up, the game is still going.
The people at the very top of their fields are not people who never failed. They're usually the people who have failed more times than anyone else, but they simply refuse to quit.
But as Mike stands back up and starts trying again and eventually starts finding some success, he is going to hit another major obstacle.
Yeah.
Haters, critics, people who judge him. The speech is very clear about this. Success breeds anger and jealousy.
When you start improving your life, some people will get very angry about it. Why does that happen?
It is pure human psychology. The speech uses a great phrase. People only throw rocks at things that shine. Nobody walks down the street and kicks a dead dog.
If you are sitting on the sofa doing nothing with your life, making zero progress, nobody is going to bother you. You are not a threat to anyone. But the exact moment you stand up, set a goal, and start shining, the whispers will start.
It is true. If people are talking badly about you, it's actually a sign that you are making waves. Your forward motion is disturbing the quiet, lazy water they are comfortable sitting in.
Your effort shines a bright, uncomfortable light on their lack of effort. They do not want to work harder to join you at the top, so it is much easier for them to try and pull you back down to the bottom with this.
And you cannot let them do that. You
Right.
cannot waste your precious time stepping down from your path to argue with them. You have to develop a thick skin and a soft heart.
A thick skin means their mean words and jealousy just bounce right off you. You do not let their poison enter your system. If you ignore them and keep running your race, they will eventually run out of breath.
You have to learn to take their criticism as a strange kind of compliment. It is the absolute proof that you are moving in the right direction.
To keep moving in that right direction, eventually you have to do something really scary. The speech calls this the jump. It describes life not as standing on the safe edge of a cliff, but as living out in the open air.
You can stand safely on the rock ledge for your entire life. You can look at the beautiful view, watch the birds fly, and stay perfectly safe. But if you stay on the ledge, you are just a spectator. You are just watching life happen.
You will never, ever know what it feels like to fly until you gather your courage and jump off the edge.
And let us acknowledge that jumping is terrifying. It is supposed to be. If jumping into the unknown were easy, every single person would be flying.
The problem is many people stand on the edge of the cliff and they say, I will jump as soon as I know for sure the parachute is going to open.
But that is not how gravity works. And that is not how life works. The parachute does not open while you are standing safely on the solid rock. The parachute only catches the wind after you are falling through the air.
You have to take the risk first. You have to step out into the empty space without a guarantee. The safe zone is an illusion. It is actually the danger zone, because the safe zone is where all your potential and your dreams quietly die from old age.
Comfort is the greatest enemy of greatness. You have to feel the fear, let your heart race, jump, and trust that you will figure out how to pull the cord on the way down.
Taking that jump is lonely. And it brings up a crucial question. When you jump, who is flying next to you? Who is in your inner circle?
This brings us to a really fascinating part of the material. It is about auditing your friendships and your environment. There is a famous rule in psychology and personal development. It says you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with.
That rule is terrifying if you really think about it. It means we absorb the energy, the habits, and the mindsets of the people around us.
If your 5 closest friends are incredibly lazy, always making excuses, you will eventually start making excuses too. If your 5 closest friends are always complaining about how unfair life is, you will become the 6th complainer.
It forces you to take a very hard look at the room you are standing in right now. The speech offers a bold piece of advice. If you look around and realize you are the smartest person in the room, you are in the wrong room.
It sounds arrogant at first, but think about the logic. If you are the smartest, the most motivated, the most successful person in your circle, who is teaching you, who is pulling you upward, your growth has completely stopped.
You need to be in a room where you feel a little bit uncomfortable. You want to be surrounded by people who are discussing ideas you do not fully understand yet.
You need to be running alongside people who are faster than you, because it forces you to push your own limits just to keep up with their pace.
The material uses an ancient proverb to explain this. Iron sharpens iron. If you have a dull iron knife, you cannot make it sharp by gently rubbing it against a soft piece of foam or a piece of silk. It will not do anything.
To sharpen iron, you have to strike it against another hard piece of iron. It creates friction, it creates heat, sometimes there are sparks, but that friction is exactly what makes both pieces sharp and useful.
We need friends who act like iron. We need friends who love us enough to challenge us, friends who will not accept our weak excuses, who tell us the truth even when it hurts, and who demand that we rise to our full potential.
But getting those friends often means making a very painful choice. Sometimes, to grow, you have to walk away from old friends. You can still love them from a distance, but you might need to walk alone for a season.
Walking alone is a heavy burden. Humans are social creatures. We hate feeling isolated, but solitude is incredibly powerful. When you are alone, the loud noise of everyone else's opinions finally fades away.
For the first time, you can actually hear your own inner voice. It is far better to walk completely alone in the direction of your purpose and to comfortably follow a massive crowd of people who are walking right off a cliff.
You must audit your circle. Who has a seat at your table right now? Are they pouring energy into your life, or are they constantly draining your battery?
And while you are building this new, sharper circle of friends, you also have to build a new mindset. The foundation of this new mindset has to be gratitude. The speech talks about the gratitude shift.
We just talked about people complaining. Complaining is like a giant magnet that attracts negativity. The more you talk about what is going wrong in your day, the more your brain looks for other things going wrong.
It is a downward spiral. And from a social perspective, nobody wants to help a chronic complainer. You can never complain your way into a successful, joyful life. You have to force a mental shift.
You must change your focus away from everything that is missing and intensely focus on what is already present in your life.
The speech suggests that the fastest way to make this shift is by changing the physical words you use every day. Language is so powerful, it actually shapes our reality.
For example, think about how many times a week you say, I have to go to work today, or I have to pick up the kids. When you say, I have to, it sounds like a heavy punishment. You are playing the role of a victim.
But if you change just one single word, everything shifts. Instead of saying, I have to, try saying, I get to.
I get to go to work today. That implies you have your health, you have a job in a tough economy, and you have the physical ability to earn a living.
I get to handle this hard problem. That means you are trusted and capable. It is a tiny shift in vocabulary, but it completely rewires how your brain processes stress.
It changes you from a victim into someone who is blessed. And gratitude actually signals that you are ready for more.
Think about it. If you cannot be genuinely thankful for the small apartment, the reliable car, and the basic health you have right now, why would the universe or life give you bigger, better things? You would not appreciate those either.
Gratitude makes you a magnet for good things. Instead of constantly broadcasting your problems to anyone who will listen, try taking your problems to a quiet space to solve them, and bring only your gratitude out into the world.
Be the person who walks into a room and brings light and energy, not the person who sucks all the oxygen out of the room with complaints.
That positive energy is exactly what you need for the next phase. This involves looking into the future. This brings us to the power of imagination, the necessity of investing in yourself, and a really cool concept called building your table.
Let us start with imagination. When we are kids, imagination is encouraged. But as adults, we are told to stop daydreaming and be realistic. The speech argues the opposite. It calls imagination a preview of life's coming attractions.
Think about being in a movie theater. Before the main film starts, you watch previews. Short clips of movies that are going to be released in the future. The material says your imagination works exactly the same way.
What you hold in your mind right now is a preview of the life you are going to experience later. Everything around us, the microphone we are speaking into, the chair you are sitting on, started as a completely invisible thought in someone's imagination before they built it in the real world.
Your mind is the theater, and you are the ultimate director of the movie. But that means you have to be incredibly careful about what you are playing on the screen of your mind.
If you spend all day imagining the worst-case scenarios, imagining yourself failing the interview, imagining people laughing at your business idea, imagining going broke, what are you doing? You are rehearsing for defeat. You are practicing how to lose.
But the reverse is also true. If you deliberately imagine your success, if you clearly visualize yourself overcoming obstacles and achieving your goals, you are rehearsing for victory.
You must be able to see it vividly in your mind's eye before you can ever hold it in your physical hands.
Seeing it is the first step, but just seeing it is not enough. You cannot just daydream and wait for magic. You have to believe in the vision enough to invest in it.
And the speech brings up a really crucial point about where we put our investments. People are always talking about investing in the stock market, buying cryptocurrency, or trying to buy real estate, and those are all fine. but they are external. They exist outside of your control.
Exactly. External investments always carry risk. The stock market can crash overnight, the real estate market can drop, and a house can lose its value.
The only absolute sure thing in this entire world, the only investment that has zero risk and guaranteed returns, is you. You are your own greatest asset.
When you invest time and energy into your own brain, your physical health, and your personal skills, nobody can ever take that away from you.
If the economy crashes, the government cannot put a tax on the knowledge you hold in your head. A thief can break into your house, but they cannot steal your ability to communicate well, your problem-solving skills, or your deep motivation.
So the message is clear. Buy the book and spend the time reading it. Take the online course to learn a new skill, whether it is coding, writing, or public speaking.
Go for the walk, eat the healthy food, and drink water, because you only get one physical vehicle to carry you through this entire journey. When you pour resources into your own development, you are making a bet on yourself, and that is a bet you will always win.
And as you invest in yourself, as you get smarter and more skilled, you're going to want a place to share your value. In the business world and even in social circles, people always talk about getting a seat at the table.
This phrase means being accepted by the important people, joining the powerful group, and having a voice in the big decisions.
We see so many people spend their entire lives begging for a seat at someone else's table. They stand outside closed doors, knocking endlessly, just hoping someone inside will take pity on them and let them in.
The speech tells us that this behavior is not only exhausting, but it is unnecessary and a little humiliating. Stop begging for a seat in a room where you clearly are not wanted.
If you keep knocking on a door and it stays locked, stop knocking. Turn around, walk away, and build your own table.
I absolutely love this concept. What does it actually mean to build your own table? It means creating your own space. It means starting your own small business, launching your own channel, or creating your own community group.
It means taking ownership. You buy your own wood, you pick up a hammer, and you hit your own nails. When you finally build your own table, the entire dynamic shifts.
You are no longer the desperate guest hoping for an invitation. You are the host. You hold the keys to the room, you set the rules of the house, you decide exactly what time dinner is served, and most importantly, you decide who gets invited.
There is so much absolute freedom in that kind of ownership. Now, is building your own table hard? Yes, it is incredibly difficult. It takes sweat, tears, and long nights.
It is definitely much easier to just quietly squeeze into a tiny, uncomfortable chair at someone else's table and stay quiet. But here's the danger. If you sit at a table someone else built, they have the power to pull the chair out from under you at any second.
True independence, what we call autonomy, is the ultimate power. And the beautiful thing about building your own table is that once it is finished, you can look around and invite all the other talented, brilliant people who were also rejected from the main tables.
You can create a completely new culture based on your values. That idea of building something that lasts brings us perfectly to our final lesson today.
This section brings all the other concepts together. It explores the connection between faith, taking massive action, and leaving a true legacy behind.
The speech talks deeply about the relationship between hoping for something, whether you call it prayer, faith, or just positive thinking, and actually doing the hard work.
The central idea here is a very old quote. Faith without works is dead. This means that having a strong belief inside your heart is a wonderful starting point. But if you never take physical action out here in the real world, your belief is completely useless. It is just a wish.
There's a beautiful image used in this speech to explain this. It says that the universe, or however you view the world, will gladly provide the wind. The wind represents the perfect opportunity.
But you are the one who has to physically stand up, step to the edge, and spread your wings to catch that wind. The universe is never going to forcefully spread your wings for you while you sit on the couch.
Another fantastic analogy the source uses is the farmer. Think about the plow and the prayer. A farmer can stand in the middle of a completely empty, dry dirt field and pray as hard as he can for a massive harvest of corn.
He can visualize the corn, he can believe in the corn, but the farmer cannot just pray. He has to pray for the physical strength to go out there, push the heavy steel plow through the hard dirt, pull up the painful weeds, and drop the tiny seeds into the ground with his own two hands.
You cannot just park your car in the garage, sit on the sofa, and pray for the car to magically drive itself to the grocery store. You have to walk to the garage, put the key in the ignition, turn the engine on, put it in gear, and press the gas pedal.
You are required to be an active participant in the rescue of your own life. If you are hoping for a new career, that is great, but you still have to sit down, Write a compelling resume, practice your interview skills, put on a clean shirt, and walk into the building.
Your physical hard work is the actual proof that you truly believe in your dream. Action is what prepares you to receive the opportunity when it finally arrives.
And all of this, the hard work, the blinders, the failures, the jumping, the table building, all of it leads to the final, most profound point, your legacy.
The speech asks the listener to mentally walk into a graveyard and look at a tombstone. On every stone, there are two dates carved into the rock: the date the person was born and the date they passed away. But in between those two dates, there's a tiny little carved line, a dash.
That little dash is everything. That tiny line represents the person's entire existence on this earth. It represents every single decision they ever made. It holds every tear they cried, every deep laugh they shared, every risk they took, and every person they loved.
The speaker begs us to look at our own lives and make that little dash mean something significant. The ultimate question is, when your end date comes, what is the story of your dash going to be?
Will people only be able to talk about the fancy clothes you bought or the car you drove? Or will they talk about the incredible strength of your character?
Will they talk about the size of your bank account? Or will they talk about the massive amount of love and help you gave to others? You want to leave a mark on this world, not a stain.
The speech makes a great distinction here. A stain is an ugly, careless mess that you leave behind, and other people have to come and try to clean it up and forget about it. A mark is a deep, intentional impression on the hearts and minds of others that lasts long after you are gone.
True legacy isn't about the physical money or the house you leave for people. True legacy is the lessons, the inspiration, and the love you leave inside people.
You have to pour out every single ounce of your talent, your energy, and your kindness while you are still breathing the air on this earth. The ultimate goal is to reach the end of your life completely empty, knowing with absolute certainty that you gave the world everything you had inside you.
Value yourself enough to fight for your future today, because absolutely nobody else is going to do it for you.
That is such a powerful, heavy message to end our analysis on today. As we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave you, the listener, with a final thought to mull over. Think deeply about your dash, that little line on a tombstone. If someone had to summarize your dash right now based strictly and only on what you did yesterday, what would it say? And what is one small thing you can do today to change that story for the better?
I hope your answer about being afraid of failure is now different. If you learned something new today, please like this video and subscribe for more English practice. See you in the next video.